Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing a bunch of dupes with you guys. I am going to be duping 10 high-end products that are more on the pricey side. I found a lot of great drugstore and affordable dupes and alternatives for you that I am so excited to share with you guys today. I have all of them on my face right now. So you guys should totally go ahead and pause this video and take a moment and guess which side of my face is drugstore / affordable and which side of my face has high-end products on it. I didn't have enough dupes to do a full face of makeup, so I didn't have dupes for any of my eye makeup or the bronzer that I'm wearing on my face, but everything else is a dupe or an alternative to a high-end product. I say alternative because some of these products aren't exact to the high-end product, but they are very, very similar enough to where you could use the more affordable one in place of the high-end product, if that makes any sense. I had so much fun finding these dupes, researching everything, doing all these swatches to come up with them. I have a whole basket of goodies that I am so excited to show you guys. I really hope that you guys enjoy seeing this video. I hope that you guys find it helpful. And if you guys are interested in seeing these 10 dupes for high-end products, make sure to keep on watching. So let's just go ahead and get started into applying the dupes. I am so excited to put these all on my face. I have them all in a basket right here just so I can kind of keep track of everything, make sure I share everything with you guys. So the first dupe that I want to share with you guys is for facial spray. I talk about this a lot on my channel and I compare the two a lot, but I really believe that they just are that similar, and I think this is a really great dupe. So on the right side of my face, your left, I'm going to spray my skin with the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This is just the original formula. You guys know I love this stuff so much. It is pretty up there in price for a facial spray, and this is $28, and my favorite alternative for it is the Catrice Prime and Fine Multi-Talent Fixing Spray. This retails for $7.99. You could pick it up at Ulta, and it is so similar. I really find that these products give almost the exact same effect to the skin. They feel really similar on the skin, and I just want to say really quickly, when it comes to the actual ingredients in these products I'm going to be talking about today, I haven't compared actual ingredients, so I'm not saying that these are like exact down to the same ingredient type dupes for each other. I'm just saying that in my experience and testing out these products, they are really similar and they essentially do the same thing. The Catrice would be a really great alternative for the MAC Fix Plus. So this isn't a dupe that you guys will be able to like physically see on the skin, but I'm just gonna go ahead and cover half of my face and do Fix Plus on my right side, your left today, and Catrice on the left side. Ooh, the Catrice sprayer is much more soaking on the face. Definitely recommend holding the Catrice a little bit farther away from you if you guys are going to use it, because as you can see, this definitely wets the skin a lot more. I probably held it a little bit too close to my face, but that's okay because we're just using this to prep the skin. But on top of makeup, you definitely want to hold the Catrice one a little bit farther so it's more of a mist and it doesn't ruin your foundation. The next dupe that I want to share with you guys today is an eyebrow product. For my high-end brow, I'm going to be using the Trestique Define Sculpt and Set Brow Pencil in the shade Americano. I love this brow pencil. This is definitely more of like a brow definer vibe. I will insert close-ups of all of these products so you guys can see, but it has more of that thick triangle tip to it, and then the other side has a brow gel, because you guys know Trestique, most of their products are 2-in-1, and the alternative that I picked out for that is the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. Again, this is going to have that more thick like triangle tip to it. The only right off the bat difference between these brow pencils is that this one has the brow gel on the end and the Wet n Wild one has an actual spoolie, which I definitely prefer. I like to be able to really brush out my brows and comb through them with just flipping over the pencil. So I would say as far as the design goes, I prefer the Wet n Wild. Having that spoolie to me is just crucial, but the actual crayon tips on these two products are very similar, hence why I'm showing you guys them in today's video. So let's go ahead and get on into the application. First, I'm going to be applying the Trestique one, again in the shade Americano. And for the left side, again, going in with the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil, and this one is in the shade Ash Brown. I would say the Wet n Wild pencil is like the slightest bit more creamy and pigmented than the Trestique one, but nothing too crazy to where it makes like a huge difference, but it definitely does have just like a little bit more pigment when you press the pencil into the brow. So those are the eyebrows done. Again, the $24 Trace Steak pencil on this side, and then the Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil on this side. Especially with a price difference of $24 and $3, that is a great alternative. So I still, of course, have to go in and clean up my brows, but I want to go ahead and start working on the eyes because the next dupe I have to show you guys is actually a setting powder. My favorite method of priming my lids for eyeshadow is putting down a thin layer of concealer and then setting it with some sort of pressed setting powder or blotting powder. And the dupe that I want to show you guys today is for the Fenty Beauty Universal Invisimatte blotting powder, and that one is the Catrice Prime and Fine mattifying powder. These powders seriously essentially do the same thing. They're both like those really thin white transparent powders that really don't alter the color on your face. They really just blend into like nothing on the face, and they are really soft and seamless. And I love using powders like this to set my lid. I have two of these same brushes here. These are the Real Technique setting brushes. These are my favorite to set my eyes, and I'm first going to start off with the Fenty Beauty one. This powder retails for $32, which is pretty pricey for a powder, although it is a really nice powder, really great for blotting, touch-ups, and setting areas like the eyelid underneath your eyes. It is pricey for a pressed powder, although it is really great. So I'm just going to take this and press the concealer down. Make sure everything is nice and set and not sticky, just to guarantee that the eyeshadows blend out nicely on top. So just to show you guys, I'm switching brushes now. The Catrice powder is the Prime and Fine mattifying powder, and it is also transparent and waterproof. This powder retails for $7.49, which is so much cheaper than the Fenty powder. They literally do the same exact thing and give the same exact effect. I'm not really sure how well you guys will be able to see on the eyelids. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can. When it comes to the texture, the finish of them, how they apply, these are really spot on dupes for each other. Now I want to go off camera and finish up my eyes. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any eyeshadow dupes that I really love that I found were like close enough and true enough to share with you guys. I haven't found like drugstore and affordable eyeshadows that really have blown me away or have been super comparable to high-end eyeshadows, but if you guys have any recommendations, definitely let me know in the comments down below because I would love to test them out and feature them in a future dupes video. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eyeshadow, and then we will come back because I have a lot more dupes to talk about for the rest of my face, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. My eyeshadow and mascara are done. Like I said earlier, if you guys have any good dupes for those steps, please let me know because I would love to be able to have a full face of dupes to share with you guys next time that I do one of these videos. But now I want to talk about some really great face dupes. I'm the most excited to share these with you guys because I feel like these are all like literally almost spot on dupes for each other, and I just have a lot more to share with you guys when it comes to my base and the face products. So starting off with primer, I have mentioned this again a bunch on my channel. This one is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, and this primer retails for $36. And then this one is the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Pore Minimize Primer, and this one retails between $7.99 and $10 depending on where you get it, whether you get it in like Amazon or a drugstore, but they are so close in formula. It's really crazy. They both blur the skin, they both create such an amazingly smooth velvety base for the foundation, and they both really prolong the wear of the foundation. So you guys will see these look so similar on the skin as well as really similar underneath the foundation, and you are getting the same amount of product in each. Both of these primers contain 1 fluid ounce of product, again for $36, and $8 to $10 for the Maybelline ones. Let's do the Smashbox side first. I'm going to try to use the same amount of product on each side, starting by focusing it in the center of my face and then spreading it outwards. I don't know how well you guys will be able to pick up on camera how this makes my skin look. It is just so smooth, and when you touch both of these primers to the touch, your skin just feels so velvety, soft, and smooth. These clear silicone primers are definitely one of my favorite formulas of primer because they are really universal for a lot of different foundations, and they are also really universal whether you are dry or oily. They are also really great for a variety of different skin types as well. Now I'm going to use my other hand to apply the Maybelline one, just to make sure I don't cross the primers on the wrong side of my face. The one difference that I've realized between these two primers, which is so slight, is that the Maybelline one is slightly more of a thin formula and it's a bit more clear, but I also don't know if that is because the Smashbox one is a lot older than the Maybelline one. I feel like the Smashbox one kind of starts out clear like this, but since mine is a little bit more on the old side, it's not as clear anymore. And here's a little close-up of my face so you guys can see. Again, Smashbox primer and the Maybelline primer, just running my fingers over my face as well. These give me the same exact feeling. Like I said, just velvety smooth. I know I keep saying that, but that truly is the best way to describe both of these primers. They really mask the look of my pores, especially when I put foundation on. You guys are gonna see everything is just going to look nice and smooth. But these two products are definitely some of the closest dupes that I have found to date. I've tried so much makeup, and as soon as I tried this Master Prime, I was like, oh, that is exactly like the Smashbox one. So these are really close dupes. The next product that I have a dupe for is the Fenty Beauty Soft Matte Pro Filter Foundation. The dupe for this is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation. These foundations remind me so much of each other. I actually have a whole dedicated foundation showdown. If you guys want to go check that out to see a full day wear test on these two foundations side by side. But when I say that these are literally almost the same exact formula, at least in my head, like I said, I don't know anything about the ingredients, but in my head, these two foundations wear so similar. They look almost identical on the skin in the sense that they do give you more of a matte look. They are more ideal for normal to oily skin. If you are more on the dry side, you probably wouldn't like both of these foundations, but more normal to oily skin people are going to love these. The Fenty Beauty Foundation retails for $35 and the Maybelline Matte and Poreless retails for $7.99. Again, another huge price difference there. You are getting a little bit more product in the Fenty Beauty one. This one has 1.08 fluid ounces, whereas in the Matte and Poreless you have exactly an ounce. But since it is so much cheaper, that doesn't bother me because it is still so much less money than the Fenty one. The shades that I wear in these are also almost identical. I wear the shade 190 in Fenty, and in the Matte and Poreless I have the shade 120 Classic Ivory. Both of these are too light on me at the moment, so please bear with me if I look a little bit light after application, but I knew that these were great dupes and I wanted to share them with you guys today. So I'm going to start off with the Fenty one. Again, I have two different but very similar foundation brushes to use. So I'm going to use the Gold Morphe brush with the Fenty foundation, and I'll use my Sigma F80 for my Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I always love how Fenty foundations smell. They just have that classic Fenty scent that you guys know what I'm talking about. If you have smelled a Fenty foundation, it's like vanilla, baby powderish, but in a good way. It just smells really nice. And I typically don't love foundations with scents, but this one smells so good. So there is one layer of the Fenty Beauty foundation compared to no makeup on this side of my face. I'm gonna go in and just build up a little bit more on my cheek. I like just a little bit more coverage, and then I will do the Matte and Poreless after. I really do like this foundation a lot, you guys. It is such a beautiful formula. It's definitely matte, but it's not like a harsh, uncomfortable matte. I think that even if you are not very oily, more on the normal combo side, this is still a really nice foundation for you. And now just dotting the Maybelline Matte and Poreless on the left side of my face. I'm gonna try to use a similar amount of product. It's just hard because the Fenty has a pump and this one you just kind of pour out yourself. So I'm just gonna try to eyeball the amount of product that I used. And then of course, I'm just gonna go in just like I did on the Fenty side with a little bit more of the matte and poreless just on my lower cheek area, because that is where I like a little bit more coverage on the face. I really want to know how these are not the same exact foundation. If someone took the Maybelline Matte and Poreless and put it inside the Fenty bottle, I'm telling you guys, I would not even know these foundations are truly that identical to each other. Looking at these up close in the mirror, I do not see any noticeable differences between the formulas or even the shades. I think that these shades are pretty spot on for each other. They both dry down exactly the same. They definitely both have more of a matte finish, but not too matte to the point where it's like really uncomfortable or really dry on the skin. They both look smoothing. They both look really flawless and airbrushed, especially from far away. Both of them look really pretty. I know a lot of people really love the Fenty one because of just the luxury aspect of it, because it comes from Rihanna. Of course it has the shade range, I have to give it to them for that, but the Maybelline Matte and Poreless also comes in 40 shades. It has a really big variety of shades as well, and I'm telling you guys, they are practically the same exact foundation. Next up for concealer, I have the Tarte Shape Tape. This is such a classic, beautiful concealer. It is very, very full coverage, and it covers literally absolutely everything under the eye. And a concealer that I found is very comparable to it is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. These are both very similar in the packaging as well. They both have more of a thick packaging, a bigger doe foot applicator that has been really popular. I guess you could say that the e.l.f. Camo Concealer was definitely a copycat of the Tarte Shape Tape. The one thing that I would say is different is that the e.l.f. one tends to lean a little bit more drying under the eye. I would say that the Tarte one does have a drier formula as well, but I think that the e.l.f. one is the slightest bit more dry. The Tarte Shape Tape Concealer retails for $27, and I'm going to be applying this one in the shade Light Neutral. You definitely do not need a lot of this concealer. This is definitely one of those less is more type of concealers. So I'm just going to be applying a little bit under my eyes, down my nose, and the right side of my chin. And I'm gonna be using this one on a little Forever 21 sponge. I really like this sponge. I wish I had the original Beauty Blender to show you guys, because then I would have duped that with the e.l.f. sponge, which is amazing, but I don't have that with me. I'm just gonna switch over to the L'Oreal sponge just because this one fits in the inner corner of my eye a little bit better. I just applied the tiniest bit more on the inner corner, and I'm gonna blend that out. In the e.l.f. concealer, I have the shade Light Beige, which is a little bit lighter than Light Neutral in the Tarte Shape Tape, but I think it will look fine. It's not that off. So again, just underneath my eyes, my nose, and the left side of my chin this time. Oh yeah, that's definitely lighter. Hopefully we can make it work. Both of the concealers dry down really quick. You don't have a lot of like playtime with the concealers, but I think they look really similar. The e.l.f. one is just a little bit lighter in this particular shade. The only thing that I see a little bit of a difference, like I mentioned earlier, is that the e.l.f. one is just a little bit more drying. I'm gonna make it a little darker so maybe you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's definitely a little bit more liney, definitely more dry looking overall, whereas the Tarte one looks just a little bit more healthy, like it's still has a little bit of a natural finish to it, opposed to looking so much more dry like the e.l.f. one. But I think from far away they are very, very comparable to each other. So those are the concealer dupes. The e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer is definitely a great alternative to the Tarte Shape Tape. Unfortunately, I don't have a dupe or an alternative to any loose powders or bronzers either, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do those steps, and then we will come back because I do have dupes for blush, highlighter, lip liner, and lipstick left to show you guys, so I'll be right back. Okay, face powder and my bronzer are on. Again, if you guys have any good dupes for those products, please let me know in the comments down below. But now moving on to blush, and blush was actually a lot more difficult to dupe than I thought it would be, because even though a lot of blushes pull pretty similar on the cheek, when I was actually swatching a lot of them on my hand, they were all so different, and it definitely took me a while to find a dupe, but I finally did, and I think it is a pretty close one. So I recently just got this NARS blush palette. This is their most Motutane face palette, and it has this really gorgeous blush in the middle. It's kind of like a mix of a pink and a coral. It's a really beautiful shade called Manava, and I was doing more research, and that blush is available on a limited edition basis as a single. So I really like this blush, and I also have been really liking my e.l.f. blush in Twinkle Pink, and then I realized that they were actually pretty close to each other. I definitely don't think that they look really close when they are in the pan, but upon swatching them as well as on the cheek, they do look pretty similar. And the single blush in the NARS is $30. This whole palette is $42, and these little e.l.f. blushes are $4. So a major savings there if you guys go with the e.l.f. blushes. So I'm gonna take the NARS blush on this Wet n Wild blush brush and apply it on this side of my face. That's really pretty. It's a really beautiful pinky coral shade. It definitely has a really nice sheen to it. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it has a really beautiful glowy illuminating aspect to it. I just think it is such a beautiful blush. And then the e.l.f. blush in the shade Twinkle Pink, of course, on this side of my face. What I thought was the most similar about these blushes was that illuminating effect that it gives. Both of these blushes have a little bit of shimmer in them, but nothing that's going to be like crazy overpowering or look like you're wearing a highlighter as blush. I just think that they give a really similar finish, and they are both beautiful colors. And as you guys can see, the colors actually translate pretty similar on camera. Again, the Twinkle Pink is a little bit more coral, whereas the Manava is a little bit pink. But I also think I was a little bit heavy-handed with the blush today, so I'm going to blend it out and see if it looks any better. Okay, so once the blushes are blended out, they definitely look almost like they're the exact same shade, and the formula as well as that luminous finish are so spot on. These e.l.f. blushes are such an incredible dupe for the NARS blushes, and I feel like even the packaging looks the same. I don't know if you guys kind of get that vibe from e.l.f., but this like black soft touch, the shape of the blushes are very similar to the NARS ones, and I definitely think they translate that way on the cheeks. To highlight my face, I'm going to be using two of my favorites, and this I thought was really funny because I use these highlighters all the time by themselves, and I'm so in love with both of these. These are definitely both in like my top 3 highlighters, and I didn't even realize they were so similar until I was researching to do dupes for this video. So one of my favorite highlighters ever is the Ofra Rodeo Drive. This is a beautiful golden champagne highlighter, and this one retails for $29. And another one of my favorite highlighters that is so similar, almost like a spot on color, as well as the beautiful blinding formula that this has, is only $5, and that is Wet n Wild Golden Flower Crown. I can't believe I didn't realize it until it was time to do this dupes video. So $29 for the Ofra, about $5, $5.49 depending on where you get it for the Wet n Wild. These honestly could probably pass as like the same exact highlighter on the cheeks. So just to show you guys, first I'm gonna take the Ofra one on my Morphe M501 and apply it on the high-end side. This has been one of my ride or die highlighters for, I don't know, 4 years, maybe more now. Do you guys see that? It has the most smooth metallic formula, kind of like you're glowing from within, but more intense than that, I guess is the best way I could describe it. It's just so beautiful. How am I gonna do like half of my Cupid's bow and then half of my nose? I guess it's gonna be a little tricky, but I'm gonna try. Oh, that's intense. And on the Drugstore side with the Wet n Wild highlighter, I'm gonna be using the Sigma F06 powder brush. This is really nice to apply highlighter. I really feel like I could stare at these highlighters all day. They are so beautiful. So again, this is the Ofra one, retails for $29, and then the $5 Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlight. I feel like these look exactly the same. They are both beaming, they are both really metallic, but they don't have any chunky glitter, excess shimmer, or anything like that falling out that make them look chunky on the cheeks. They are just smooth and metallic and beautiful, both very intense beams. If you guys like more of a subtle highlight, I don't think either of these highlighters are going to be for you, but I'm sure you guys can see their beauty. What do you guys think? I keep going like this because I want to see both of them at the same time. So now that I have my full face on, I want to go ahead and set everything with a little bit of Fix Plus on this side of my face, just to make sure all the powders are nice and melted into my skin, and just to refresh the makeup. And of course, using the Catrice Prime and Fine on the low end side of my face. I'm gonna hold it a little bit farther though, because this is really wet. We are finally down to the last two dupes that I want to mention to you guys today. So the first dupe that I want to mention is for the MAC lip liner. This one is in the shade Boldly Bare, and the shade that I have to dupe this with isn't exact to Boldly Bare lip pencil, but I would say overall the formula is really similar to MAC pencils, and those are the LA Girl Perfect Precision lip liners, and I have this one in the shade Sugar and Spice. The MAC lip liners are $18, whereas the LA Girl liners are $3, which is again a huge price difference there. These are both wooden pencils that you have to sharpen, which aren't typically my favorite formula of lip liner, but these are both so creamy, so pigmented, really easy to apply. They don't tug on the lips or anything like that. These colors are actually a lot closer than I thought. I would just say Sugar and Spice by LA Girl is like the teeniest tiny bit darker, but they could pretty much pass as like almost the same shade. You guys will be able to see better when I finish. And the last dupe that I have to show you guys is for the Giorgio Armani Lip Maestro liquid lipstick. I adore this formula of liquid lipstick. I am not a huge liquid lipstick person. They are definitely not my favorite thing to wear on my lips, but there is something about this Giorgio Armani one that makes me just enjoy wearing this. It is so comfortable. I love this color, but definitely is a painful price to pay for a liquid lipstick. So I was so excited when I found these L'Oreal Rouge Signature liquid lipsticks. I believe those are what they're called, but I will definitely have them linked down below. These retail for $12, and these to me are so similar in formula to the Giorgio Armani ones. These are also very comfortable. They have a little bit more of a thin formula that doesn't 100% dry down, which is my favorite formula of liquid lipstick. And I have to say, these colors are pretty close. They're not identical, but I'm gonna try to make it work. So in the Giorgio Armani one, I have the shade 500, and in the L'Oreal one, I have the shade 540 Choose. Let's go ahead and apply these. Okay, so that is the lipstick applied. I know the color is a little bit off. The L'Oreal one is a little bit darker, but these formulas feel exactly the same on my lips. They are both very lightweight, almost like a thin, moussey consistency is the best way that I could describe them. And I'm sure you guys can see, besides the color, they are drying down almost the same exact way. So the L'Oreal one is definitely an amazing dupe for the very expensive Giorgio Armani lipstick. All right, you guys, so that is going to complete this video. Those are all the 10 dupes applied on my face that I wanted to share with you guys today. Definitely let me know what side of my face you think looks better. If you guys had a favorite dupe that I mentioned in this video, definitely let me know. I love filming videos like this. I feel like besides the color of the lip, everything else looks almost identical on the skin, and you cannot even tell that I'm wearing different products on each half of my face. Please make sure to let me know if you guys have any dupes that you love. I would love to film another one of these in the future. So let me know if you guys have any dupes that you've discovered on your own or that you've heard other YouTubers mention, because I would love, like I said, to film more of these. I would love to do a full face of dupes next time. I know I didn't have everything to do a full face in this video, but other than that, I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing this video, and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel before you leave. I would love to have you guys here as part of my little YouTube fam. If you don't want to miss out on any of my future videos, click that notification bell down below and you'll get notified every single time that I upload a new video. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!